we are live Wednesday night with those guys, and Wednesday night with those guys are sponsored by
Oh,
guys.
What's up? What's up?
What's up, guys? How's it going this evening?
How's everyone? I just got your alert and the screen just went live.
Okay.
So we are good.
Live Wednesday night.
Oh, someone forgot to mute.
You know what's crazy? I always do it to myself, forgetting that window will open as soon as the show goes.
What's
how's
up,
everyone
Ludo?
This evening?
What's up, Ludo Lou and show? Ludo Lou says he's going to stick around. He needs to relax. A very difficult day here in Lagos, Nigeria. You are the second or third viewer that we've had. You guys still there?
Yep. Yeah.
Okay. Remember, I'm doing an update on my screen.
Yeah, we're here.
You scared me for a second.
Hey, David, what's good, man?
Hey, David. But you are Ludo Lou. You're the second or third person that we have listening from Africa, for the country of Africa, which is quite interesting.
Passed through.
Huh?
A couple of people have passed through, so they were from Africa.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I remember him being Ludo Lou being like the third one. But what's up, everybody? How's the week going? Middle of the week, hump day.
Yeah, middle of the week. So, Paul, how's things been going down there by you? Weather and everything.
Rain, and now the sun came out.
Okay, I was watching Roger on the way to the doctor the other day in the car on the phone. I see he's having bad weather too.
Yes. Well, he's supposed to get snow here in the next couple of days.
Well, didn't we get snow in Wisconsin, Paul?
Yes.
Yeah, we got snow.
They got 6-8 inches up in Wisconsin, in northern Michigan.
I'm sorry to hear that, Ludo Lou. He was saying it's a very bad day in Nigeria because the army has killed innocent civilians.
Oh boy.
And so I know they're protesting over there. Just stay safe, and you may hear about it on international media. Well, I actually do watch the world news, so I probably will get to check out.
Mr. Jackson.
After the
Tim Jackson.
Tim Jackson, what's good?
Hey, Sean, how's it going?
Sean Geeksvana, my condolences to whoever may have lost friends, family members, or anyone that's gotten hurt over there in Africa due to protesting or the violence that's happening. Yes, stay safe, Ludo. Please do keep us posted on what's going on. We would love to hear what's happening in other parts of the world.
Geeksvana, Sean
Geeksvana. Sean, I would like to let you know next week I will have time to take you up on that offer for OBS.
Okay.
And in 1 week, I plan on becoming the OBS master. So now, when we do live streams, I'll be able to place sound effects and things like that. At least that's hopeful. But Sean, it's Geeksvana. Let me know what I need. I'm sure I need that little 5-button box.
You're gonna be a master in how long?
In a week.
You didn't see how long it took Luke and Yoda's 2 seasons now. He ain't get back home.
Yeah.
And you're gonna do it in a week. All right, let's see. So yeah, we got a few things going on. We're waiting on Tom to come in, but I don't know. Did you get out this week, Lawrence? Because you know me, I'm still stuck here.
I couldn't. This is what I'm saying. I built this bird.
Yeah.
This is
you were supposed
my
to
first real. When I say real, I mean real powerful drone. First build from screw one to the last screw. Mounts on, and I can't maiden Voyager because it's been raining the last 2 days in the morning, and you know how we are. We're morning flyers. Well, by the time the rain does stop, the ground is still wet, so I'm not going to go fly a brand new bird outside, and then if I crash, rain gets on it, then it arcs, and that would be bad. That would be
on the concrete.
Huh?
So fly it on the concrete.
Nah, that's okay. I maiden my stuff over grass.
You good now?
Well, when you first build a drone, first you should do a hover test. You burn a battery doing a hover test, because then when you land, you're 700 meters from where the massacre happened yesterday. That's pretty close.
Wow, that's not.
Sorry to hear that. Seriously, but you say you're inside state, so please, you and your fellow neighbors in Lagos,
Your
Nigeria,
family.
be safe, stay safe. Seriously. Um, AZ Drone Dude, how are you?
Um,
What's going on? Michael Blades, how are you guys? But anyway,
easy
it would
drone
figure
dude.
something doesn't want me to fly this drone. Now, I've done a hover test in the house,
Right.
actually a bounce test. I got the props to go to spin strong enough that I can go up in the air like this, hover above the ground for 3 seconds, and then I let it down. Now
Okay.
I'm ready to do a full battery hover test to see. What's up, Ash? How are you? You
I
didn't
just
quite
got your
go
notification,
go to
Herman.
bed.
I
Just
have.
thought that I drop in while tidying up and editing some loose ends. Okay.
I
We
just got the
appreciate it.
notification that you're live.
Ash, what's going on, man?
Wow. Wow,
I
Paul.
don't know.
Night
So
train.
slow on your internet.
And it came right up and says he was live 5 minutes ago.
Wow. Night train. I want to talk to you about maybe coming on a live stream on your live stream and actually doing a giveaway. I
Somebody's
might
got.
be doing a Those Guys FPV giveaway, and I might want to do it on your channel. So we'll talk about it in the future.
Oh, that's how we doing. All right.
Well,
Sounds good.
it doesn't make sense to do an FPV giveaway on here,
Uh-huh.
and most of the fans, the people that come here, aren't FPV heads.
You get a few.
You know,
Got to start somewhere.
What's up, Tom? And I'm
How
not
are you,
ready to
Lawrence?
start an
Herman,
FPV.
Paul?
How's it
Hey,
going?
Tom.
You
I'm
get
not
a
ready to
few.
start an FPV channel yet.
You got Night Train is here. You know, we used to have a lot of guys.
Yeah, they pop in and pop out, but Night Train's live stream is strictly
And then
strictly
the
FPV.
guys from over by Bill come through.
Hey, Desmond, how are you?
So yeah, Lawrence. You still doing that up there?
No, it's done. It's over.
Okay.
The update's clear. When my screens went off
Uh-huh.
while I was talking, I was like, hello. I knew it didn't tell it to restart the machine. Usually when you update graphics drivers, the screens flicker for a while, but
Okay.
everything's good.
So Tom, what you been up to? Everything all right?
Working. We went riding on our e-bikes.
I saw that video.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You had a
that
good
was the Insta 360 out of the box.
Okay.
Out of the
So I didn't
box.
do anything to it. Out of the box.
No tuning, no
let me
color
make
tuning. Nothing.
No, I didn't do anything to it. Didn't do anything to it. So they sell these protective lenses for when you're in the 360 mod, and they clip on to the snap-on case that you put around the 360 camera.
Right.
And they're well worth the $29 because I attached the clamp to the bike. I put the invisible selfie stick, extended it a bit, started riding, got myself up to about 18 miles an hour.
Hey, Chris.
And the mount just gave,
What's going on, man?
and the action cam just hit the ground in front of me and scraped until I came to a stop. So if they sell protective lenses, spend the money and buy them. It made the difference in me continuing my shooting for the rest of the day because I was able to pop those off. But yes, the clamp that Insta 360 sold me as part of the motorcycle bundle. Okay, you would think a motorcycle's got to go a lot faster than my e-bike.
Right.
Would hold true. So no matter how much you tighten this clamp, it wasn't supporting the weight.
Okay.
That's
so
interesting.
And what was I talking about? Maybe did I hit a pound in camera weight with the little action cam? I don't know.
I doubt it.
No.
Yeah. Right.
I doubt it.
I doubt it very much as well.
Well,
live and learn.
This is true. Well, anyway.
But I tell you, we had a good time.
Right.
It was a beautiful run. The Greenway, for anybody that's in the New York area, there's a Greenway that runs basically the complete length of the Belt Parkway. We parked over in Erskine Street by...
actually gotten longer.
It's gotten much longer. Actually, we could have taken that all the way from exit 15, which is Erskine Street, all the way to Owl's Head Park in Bay Ridge, Brooklyn, north of
you could.
the VZ, and
Right.
round trip, that's a 30-mile ride round trip.
Yeah.
So,
You know what?
And on the e-bike, the distance isn't the great equalizer anymore. Okay, so
Jack Sparky.
yeah.
Hey, Jack, what's up, man? You know what?
All right, Jack.
That used to be garbage.
Yeah, well, that was a landfill, right?
Yeah, it was a lump of garbage.
That whole section of Brooklyn. Well, for those of you that don't know, a greater portion of New York
is built
on landfills. Okay, the entire lower end of Manhattan
is a landfill.
It's a garbage dump.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, actually, the dirt that came out of the hole started Battery Park City.
Absolutely. And then, of course, the garbage on top of that. And then you have a good portion of the Upper West Side.
Right.
You have portions of Queens.
No longer Starlight City anymore, but the Starlight City started it.
Well, that now is a different under a different name, right? And that's Shirley Chisholm State Park now, which is gorgeous. Beautiful covered piers. No fishing on the covered piers. Right. But then you're right over at Rockaway Parkway, and there's nothing but fishing there.
I'm good.
So, that's a great area.
They didn't tell us about that during our boat trip around Manhattan. You hear that droning on? Well, yeah, they don't tell you those things. If you knew that a lot of places you were looking at were mountains of garbage, you might be like, ew.
You still got a lot of bedrock, down there in Manhattan, down in Lower Manhattan, but
but it doesn't go really south. It really doesn't go south of Chambers,
right? Because the other side there, where all the new stuff is all on, land. The stuff that came out the hole.
And what's underground is even more mesmerizing than what's above ground. I mean, this city is just a layer upon layer upon layer of mystery. So, there's subway stations down there that haven't seen the light of day in 100 years.
It's funny you mentioned that. In certain lines, when you ride, you look through the window. You can actually see the old stations in there.
They just show up in the lights, the reflections. Yep. Yeah. And then you have a unique infrastructure below the city, the water tunnels. Just think about the amount of water that has to be brought into New York City, to quench the thirst and needs of 8 to 12 million people. So that whole infrastructure underground is unbelievable too. And by the way, pre-COVID-19,
Spirit Box.
There were all kinds of tours available. There's a guy in Brooklyn who does a complete tour of the underground aqueduct system under the Atlantic Avenue.
Okay.
Hey,
and there's all kinds of forgotten areas.
Can't wait to return to New York. They're going to be there for 3 days. It wasn't anywhere near enough. Ash, to be honest, if you can get in a week, it still wouldn't be enough. I mean, seriously. I could give tours. I've been told I could give tours because wherever I go someplace, I'm like, oh, this is so-and-so tower, and living in New York, you just learn this stuff and it sinks in.
Well, as one of my side gigs for many years, I ran photo walks for European photo enthusiasts that would book my time during a long weekend or a week's visit and spend several hours checking out some unique places throughout the 5 boroughs to capture some. This is a target-rich city, so I mean, basically anywhere you point your camera, it's gonna be target-rich. And as drone flyers, that's the ordeal we face every day. There are plenty of things we want to photograph, but not everything is photographable.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you know what's funny, Lawrence? I told you my father, he's 84 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He's worked in construction for God knows how long. He can tell you, you drive around the city with him and he'll tell you about when that building was being built. And when he worked on that building, I'm like, that building's always been there. He didn't work on that.
Yeah. You know, what's really humbling is, you know, we look around the city and we look around this country and go, wow, look at that. Look at the infrastructure there. Look at this. But then when you go over to Europe and realize we're just a speck on the timeline, right?
Oh, yeah.
And I remember when I went to Amsterdam and looking at the buildings, I was like, wow, it's really weird. They all like tilt in slightly. And then realized, then found out that was architecturally designed that way because they had small doorways and they would jib up all the furniture and everything to a large window, you know, off a pulley. But then when you started taking the canal boats around, and one of the spots you pass by on one of the regular canal boat routes is the West India Trading Company. And I don't know about you, but in grammar school, we learned about the West India Trading Company. You know, trading across the globe back in the 1600s, and they're still in business today. So, you know what? There's nothing but sights to be seen all around this globe. And the nice thing the drones offer us is a great vantage point, right?
This is true.
So if you want to get your feet wet in FPV, there's nothing but opportunities out there. And if you want to get your feet wet in camera drones, the new DJI Mavic 2, a lot's leaked out there on the market. Our friend Haya from Drone DJ already put out that the pricing had been released inadvertently on one of the vendor sites.
Right. Okay.
So that 4K camera, that 4K camera now is going to demand a price of $449, or if you want the buy more combo, it's going to be $599. So we're basically talking about that increase of $100, right? And it's funny how DJI has a way of doing that, right? Everything is just $100 or a couple $100 more than the last one, and all the improvements we made, you know, that's worth it, right? And before you know it, you're paying a couple $1,000s for a drone. So
did they say what transmission system they're using, or they?
That's what I was wondering.
It's going. I'm pretty sure it's going to remain the same. Just maybe boosted a little, because otherwise it's going to cut into Mavic Air 2. So I don't see that happening.
What I think they're going to do is give you the same drone with just a better camera.
Basically, I think they they actually upped the sensor size slightly.
That's what I'm saying. They're going to give you the same drone with a better camera.
Yeah, and as Hyatt put up on his site, and you know what I found interesting was Hyatt was flying one over the Hudson River. So
Herman, did you order the new Pocket 2?
Who?
You.
I put my call in.
Don't you use the Pocket 2 when you do your intros? And
yeah, I put my call in.
That looks like a nice little package there. I like what they did.
And it has zoom on it and everything. Yeah.
Yeah, well, you know what? So does your Mavic Air 2 now. But you know, if you're using the smart controller. But what I like is, Herman, what they did with that little thumb wheel. You know, they went away from the wheel, which, by the way, they still offer for this one, which I wasn't too sure why you would want that. But they actually offered a multi-directional thumb switch, which seems to be a lot more effective on it. And of course, yes, the sensor size is larger. And I believe it is the Mavic Air camera, just recycled. The Mavic Air 2 camera.
Okay, I got a couple of announcements I want to make. Now, remember, none of these, I'm not paid by any of these guys to make these announcements. I'm not sponsored by any of them, but like I mentioned to you guys a couple of weeks before, don't forget tonight.
You gotta hit sharing on. You gotta turn sharing on, dude.
Okay. Don't forget tonight, the DRL, the Drone Racing League 2020 World Championships tonight, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time.
NBC, SN, and NBC will have it.
Video right there in the middle there, Lance.
Which one?
Right there where you are.
Oh, one of these? Okay.
Yeah. You see, we got right here the times that are coming on. Remember, tonight, you got level 1 gate to New York. And
These
at
are
10,
the actual game.
level 2, Detroit. Now,
Yes.
all these races will be on the Xbox, on the simulator, the Drone Racing League simulator.
Yes, yes. And it'll be broadcast. They will be broadcast on
If you put the link to this,
NBCSN.
NBCSN. In fact,
Yeah.
let me copy this here and give it to you guys in the chat.
those guys
There.
can go and find out where to view.
Hey, Stevie,
What's up, Stevie?
right there. That's the schedule and everything. So all you got to do is click that link. And if you have NBCSN, you'll get it. If not, I'm sure there's some way, shape, or form that you can watch it. If you have an Xbox, I'm sure they're showing it also on Twitch. And if
Yeah,
you
and DRL will probably put it up on YouTube.
And I
Right.
believe it'll be also on Facebook Watch as well.
Yes, 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 that's true on Facebook Watch. So if you're a member on DRL or you follow DRL on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, they're not on TikTok yet. Any of those media sources, you should find a link to those races tonight. Now you may say, why are these races so important? And it's because they're taking their simulator, and just like Velocidrone did, Velocidrone went and said, we're going to have a world tournament. And well, we're going to have it through this simulator. And if you win this tournament, we'll bring you in as one of our Velocidrone pilots. Well, Drone Racing League rules everything. Drone Racing League, that's why you can't find any hero sessions, GoPro sessions, because they probably brought up 85% of the stock for their drones. But to make a long story short, Drone Racing League is saying if you win these tournaments with your stair-step ladder system and you work your way to the top, you'll become an actual pilot for the Drone Racing League and represent wherever you come from. Because now they're not only picking pilots from certain demographics, they're picking pilots from all over the world. And they're seriously trying to make this an official sport. So just
it's going to be big because it's going on. As you can see, they have a schedule up there, and it's going to be lasting a couple of months.
Well, Herman, the first year the Drone Racing League was establishing themselves, they had a track here in New York. And they actually took the Limelight Club or one of these large clubs, indoor clubs, 2-story clubs, and they had a race there. And what was messed up at the time, New York wasn't so FPV crazy. And had I known, you could go there and watch the races and just bring your own goggles. You can tune into whoever's you want to watch race.
Well, apparently with this thing here, like I told you guys before, they have courses for all over the world. And tonight, is New York Gates and Detroit. So
but I got a question when you get a chance.
I'm listening.
Was it Lawrence might know this, was it Drone Racing League that had the full-size drone, manned drone that they were working on?
No, that's actually someone called DC something.
Okay.
DCL or something. They had the actual man-sized racing drone.
Because I haven't heard anything about it, so I was just wondering.
Yeah,
they're still working. I remember it was a concept at the time.
Once again, this is, you want to know where to watch this, which by the way, I'm going to bookmark it now because I'll probably watch it on my computer.
You sent that link out?
Yeah, the link is out.
Okay.
Yeah, the link is up. I put it up once, I'm putting it up again.
Also, we got coming up this weekend.
This is the downside of digital gone. It will be days when you can tune into frequencies of another racer and just watch. Ash, they actually do that at racing at some select racing tracks. And I only say some select because depending on how many people are there with goggles, you can actually interfere with the pilots. So
yeah, but like
ahead.
Droning On said, okay, he's done that quite often in the UK at drone races, bringing his Fat Sharks with him so he can watch the races. Right. But that'll be far more tricky now with digital.
Yes.
So I
agree.
think, I think what they're going to do at some of these is they can rebroadcast or simulcast out a signal.
That's what they do.
Okay, at the venue. So they could do that digital to analog translation, so you could watch it on whatever you bring and rebroadcast it on a particular frequency.
That is
So,
actually what they do.
That they would have to do it that way.
Right. Yeah, and receiving doesn't interfere.
Because you don't want someone to have an actual feed direct to the pilot.
No, but the good thing about it is, remember, one transmit to many receivers.
Yes.
Okay, so there's no issue there. There's no limitation there.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, if you can scan the frequency, you can tune in.
Right. They tell you tune to this frequency for this pilot, tune to this frequency.
Yeah, the only thing that they would have an issue with at the venue would be, are they pumping out a wide enough band?
They do
data.
it online, Ash. There's a few amateur guys.
I don't think that would be much of a problem.
Hadley's Famous did a night race.
No, it wouldn't be.
Hadley's Famous FPV did a night race, and they were actually streaming the race online. Now, what online service they were using, I do not know, but one was being streamed to Facebook and one was being streamed somewhere else. And the good thing about them streaming it is you can't get any closer to real life racing than being there. So check it out.
I don't know about fact sharks and the frequencies, but when you turn them on, don't they grab whatever the strongest signal is automatically, or do you got to tune it in?
For racing, you're assigned specific channels and frequencies.
Yeah.
Your radio, your drone can only transmit but so much power. Your VTX can only transmit so much power. So that balances out. Like I fly at 1 watt. Okay, now if I fly past someone, if I fly past someone that's pushing 25 milliwatts, that 1 watt is going to splash over them. So they make sure that everyone usually transmits at 25 milliwatts.
Yeah, they're at wider distances on the spectrum during the race, so you don't have that RF pollution.
Right, like there's 8 channels.
That signal injection.
If, like, let's say Tom was flying and he was broadcasting, and you and Herman were sitting in the stands, couldn't you just take out fact charts and wouldn't it tune to him, or no?
It wouldn't be directly to him. It would be to a receiver that's
to a proxy, basically. Right. They would set up a proxy, a gateway that you could then, you want to throw these on and watch a specific racer. They're going to tell you this is where we're broadcasting.
Right. Like the goggles I have, it has called Channel X, and Channel X are your favorites. So what I would do is I would tune my favorite to Tom's radio. I tune my favorite to your radio and to Herman. So if Tom wipes out, I know with 2 clicks of a button, I'm watching you, Paul. Or one click of a button, I'm watching Herman.
Okay, Paul, you remember like years ago, there were certain places you would go with your car, and when you get there, they would tell you to tune your radio.
So
now you go to a drive-in today.
Right.
It's a rebroadcast on FM.
I just thought that the Fat Sharks or the more expensive goggles automatically scanned and picked up whatever.
They actually do, but for the racer,
you can tune
for the racer's sanity. I mean, some of these guys put $300, $400, $500 into a drone. Now I know if I'm flying a $500 bird and my video goes out because some 12-year-old kid plugged in.
Okay.
Well, these drones are in a simulator. So
right.
Or a bunch of folks from Flyborough just walked into the field.
So in essence, what you're saying is, I'm trying to understand this. So what you're saying is if somebody just had a pair of Fat Sharks with the antennas and receiving, and they were not plugged into a transmitter, would it still interfere with the guy that's flying? And would they be able to see what he was transmitting?
No. A received signal causes no impact on the transmitter.
Right. Because you're receiving. It's only when someone.
And remember, those frequencies are not your transmit frequency and your receive frequency are segments apart. So they're not impacting on each other. But no, you can have many receivers to a single transmit. You can have multiple transmitters going at the same time.
Ash says it right here. Receiving an analog signal doesn't interfere with the transmitter on the quad.
Right.
If that makes any sense.
Okay.
Yeah. You basically receive only. You're sniping a signal. That's all.
Right. Anybody, it's like the air. You can breathe in the air. I mean, that's what comes out of you.
That's scary.
That causes noise.
Don't think about it. Just do it.
Yeah.
So yeah. Also, this weekend, the New York City Drone Film Festival. This weekend, October 24th, 25th. That's this, Saturday and Sunday.
Yeah.
Tickets are on sale for $120. Now, I'm telling you that this show is well worth $120 because what they're giving you, not only do they have, the show, the film festival, but you're getting 30 plus hours of master classes.
Master classes after the event.
Experience panels and 6 months of tutorials in editing and things like that. So that's what you're getting for that $120. So I think that's well worth it.
I could see Lawrence dancing like that.
Yeah, okay. Paul, you ever see me dancing like that? You know I've won the lotto. Because that's the only way you're going to see me dancing like that.
That's how you're going to be dancing?
All the way from your house to the lottery office, right?
That's how you're
pirouettes and everything else.
Lawrence?
What, Herman?
You're going to be dancing if you win the lotto?
Yeah, I'll be doing something.
Well,
the Irish jig or something. I'll be
sneaking out in the middle of the night.
Thank you.
That's what I'll be doing.
Thank you,
I will be.
Everybody be wondering what happened to Tom. He's gone with the cat.
Have you seen him? I don't know. I heard some noise in his apartment a couple weeks ago.
Forgotten. Okay.
You see what I got to go through? You see what I got to go through, Ash?
Wait, I heard some noise in his apartment a couple of weeks ago.
I'm not saying I wouldn't be a philanthropist now, but it's my choice who I'm giving my money to. Okay.
Exactly.
Otherwise, I'm going to find a bunch of relatives I didn't even know existed.
If you could send a super chat to get Lawrence dancing like that, I would. You deserve your monetization.
Yeah, you send Lawrence a super chat that gets him dancing. We're coming hunting for you.
Here we go again. Ash, that has already happened, actually.
Ash, we had that happen on my live stream.
Yes, we did.
We don't want to go there. And unfortunately, Herman's not monetized, so you can't.
And it was $100 too.
I'm not monetized, but I do have paper.
He's got Apple Pay, no doubt. So yeah.
Listen, Ash, forget about it. We need more than beer to make me dance. Okay.
Hey, Bill, what's going on, man?
Tom, you know what that means? He's going to start pulling out the moonshine.
Stop instigating.
You know, I remember, who was it? I think it was Stevie who said most discussions in the holding cell start with, well, I didn't think I had that much Hennessy. So.
There you go, Tom. Or that tequila went in real fast, real smooth. Yeah. It came out.
No, guys get themselves into trouble. But yeah, like I said, that film festival I think is a great thing because you should see some of these guys work. And it's sponsored by Air.
It's inspiring. It's inspiring.
Yeah, I mean, I've seen. If you want to talk about FPV, check this festival.
Air Boots.
See some of the things. It's actually they said it's pronounced Air Views.
Yeah, but Lawrence can't help himself. He's enjoying that views stuff. Right?
No, it's just I don't know how to pronounce it either the way they spell it with the little thingies over the
it must be French. You drop off a lot of the characters. They don't mean that. Okay.
No, but yeah.
Don't mean to offend any French Canadians.
Here's the YouTube link.
French, yes, French Canadians. I don't mean to.
Might want to watch it. It is interesting. The video that I just showed, ignore that one. It just came up in the clip for a few seconds. But this is the one for Air Boots for the show, which, by the way, they hold.
Yes, it's starting to get me crazy
in
too.
New York City.
Air Views. Okay.
Tomato.
Just say it slowly.
Air Views.
Not booze. It's not booze.
With you, Tom.
Doesn't sound like
booze. Air Views.
There you go.
But Voots sounds better.
No, but
I knew it was a source of entertainment for you.
I have to make myself laugh somehow.
But I heard them pronounce it, so that's why I said it. It's not what the way you know what I mean.
Anyway, but they have it in New York every year, and for 30 hours of master classes up to 6 months after you take this, that should
Tutorials?
more, and the master classes are on video editing, lighting, resolution, all of these master classes. If you don't do editing manually, this would be a great way to take up and learn how to do some of that stuff.
Now,
Even if you shoot automatically with your stuff in auto, I'm sure they even have some master classes on that. So
is it all done virtually?
yes,
be done online. Yes,
it's all done online. Now for the $120, it goes on, like Herman said, through the weekend, but 30 hours of master classes after that.
Hey, check this out, Lawrence.
Yeah.
New School in Manhattan has a course on how to use Adobe Premiere. Believe me, I know they do.
How to use what?
Adobe Premiere. Trust me, it's part of the curriculum. Believe me, I know they have a class in this.
Okay.
It's not cheap. All right. It's
Yeah,
not cheap.
I can imagine.
So when they tell you that for $120 you can sit in on these things on editing and classes on editing and tutorials and stuff like that, 30 hours.
Air boost, Donders. David. Air booze. No one said air booze.
Yeah, because that's your subconscious, Lawrence. That's what we're trying to say. Okay, your subconscious is forcing you to say it that way.
To say booze, yeah,
booze. Yeah,
that's a great thing to pick up.
See, Tom, this is
I'm watching. Lawrence doesn't realize I'm watching him, man.
This isn't my live stream, else I would have muted Tom a long time ago.
Yeah.
I can't mute him on this.
I know where my friends are. Don't worry. Herman's taking care of me right now. As long as I don't go after him.
No, that's okay. I don't mind. If any of you would like some tutorials in Adobe Premiere, let me know, as I'll be running live streams on this topic soon.
Very good.
We already paid for the class, Ash.
What?
Well, you know what? Anytime you can avail yourself of training, it's worth it. You know, I've been a member of PPA, the Professional Photographers of America, for a long time now, and they hold some great training sessions and critiques, and you always come out of it just learning something new. And you know, even if you hold Adobe Certified Expert and ACE certification, you know what? Every time you talk to somebody, you learn something. So it's definitely an event I would highly recommend.
You know what, Tom? And you know what she says to me? Why do you use Filmora? Why don't you use Adobe Premiere? I'm like, listen, I got Filmora. That's what I'm using. Why you don't use Adobe Premiere? Listen, I didn't take the class you went to school in.
Yeah. And plus, it's not cheap. I mean, you know, I wish they really, you know, the subscription model, I completely understand in the software world now, because, you know, look, the old days we used to pay $600-700 for Adobe Photoshop.
Okay,
and then
but Tom,
16 months later, you'd have to pay again.
But Tom, when you paid that, when you paid that, you could take that. Back then, the laws were lax, and you could take that and share it with your friends. Without infringing on the copyright. No. You were infringing on the copyright. Don't hold yourself above the law. Okay, you knew what you were doing. The thing is, so did Adobe. The opinions heard tonight are not necessarily the views and opinions of everyone on the panel. Okay, I got it out.
Adobe came to realize that rather quickly, because
Copper State.
They were bleeding money. Now, when they released Photoshop and Photoshop Lightroom together, they very intelligently released them as a photographer's bundle, and for a small entry price of $9.95 a month, you got those two products, and they're robust products, and all the incremental changes that came with it. And they didn't wait for 18 months to release all the updates. Whenever there was something new to release, they released it. So that was a big one. And then they had a fairly decent entry price if you wanted to add Premiere and stuff like that. For around $20, you could do that. But then they jacked up the price. It's over $50 now a month. Okay. So, it's not the cheapest thing. And you know what? I use Premiere, I use Photoshop, I use Lightroom. And the only way to get those 3 products is to pay the $50+ a month.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
And yes, I can have it on. The nice thing about it is no matter what device I touch, I have a license on. But yes, I can't share that license with others.
no, I understand you're saying. I'm just saying that, you have kids, you send them to school and they learn things that you didn't learn.
Right.
Oh, yeah.
Now
Please.
And they actually have fun at.
Oh, sending it home? Yeah, of course. And just think, especially now during when parents are trying to homeschool their kids and are at a complete loss because they don't even remember covering that that coursework, right?
Oh, it was there. You was just in the bathroom smoking.
It's a possibility too. I don't even think I was in the school bathroom, okay, at the time.
That's Tom. I was gonna correct you. Say I was in the bathroom, but it wasn't in school.
Yeah, it wasn't the school bathroom. Yeah. Half the battle was getting to school. Okay.
So yeah, Lawrence. The next story was something that everybody's probably heard already. This man in Georgia who was arrested for shooting down a utility drone.
Yeah.
Knucklehead. He was charged with criminal danger of damage of property and what was it in the second degree and reckless conduct. So that was no biggie, but I just thought that
it's not any biggie. But he did have to. By the way, he shot down a $15,000 drone.
Yeah, from the power company. So they're not too happy with Bubba.
Right.
So they're not looking for the local DA to drop those charges.
And from what I understand, he was aware that they were there working. He didn't fly over his property. So I mean, even though that doesn't make a difference,
Well, the other difference is power companies have easement rights also.
Right, but this is what he did, and some people do these things. I don't know. I don't think that it's crazy. And a lot of people, if that ever happens to anyone, make sure you get a police report and then take it to the next level.
Yes.
Yeah. Don't take it up. Don't take it up directly with the individual that shot your drone down.
Right.
That you usually won't fare well in that.
No, because if he shot the drone down,
best thing is to de-escalate the incident. that means beat feet and notify the authorities.
Right.
Yes, but make sure you get that report because anything you say won't mean jack unless you have that
to file a report.
And
you actually have to swear out charges.
Okay. Yes.
Go ahead, Herman. I just have a Droneseed queued up, but I actually have their site.
Oh, no,
when you're ready for that story.
The only other thing I wanted to mention just now was what is it here? The U.S.
Department of Justice.
Yeah, the U.S. Department of Justice and the Attorney General from 11 Republican-led states has filed an antitrust lawsuit against Google. Now, this is funny. They said that the company has monopolized, is a legal monopoly on search and advertising.
Mm-hmm.
Go figure.
Now that is funny. This suit follows after a 16-month investigation. They're going after Google now. I guess Google,
it's not the first time. Remember the Europeans went after them. Yeah, so it's pretty. I find it pretty comical. Well, the thing is, let's screw with them because they even call out of what a superb job Google does. Okay. And how they take the money and invest it. Okay. And how they're edging out the competition because the cost of admission goes higher. Yeah, because the technology gets more expensive. But do you realize, these are the articles you should start reading in reverse. This is my trick for taking tests. When I take a test, I read the answers first.
Right.
Okay. Because if I read the question first, I might come up with my own idea, which isn't even
Exactly,
on
but
radar.
Tom,
right?
that's very good learning process. I learned that in college to read the answer
Yeah.
first.
Yeah.
Because
So
in reading, the answer may be
Mhm.
in that question. It may not, but it'll help you that much better.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
getting back to what the Department of Justice, it says what the DOJ is seeking to do. Despite these allegations, the Department of Justice is not explicitly looking to break up Google or impose specific.
Right.
Rather,
Rather
it is
it's asking for structural relief. Right.
But
Do you know what that means?
Yeah, but hold on. Several hours
Go
after
ahead.
the lawsuit was filed, the company called the lawsuit deeply flawed.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. But do you realize what DOJ is doing here? Let me
They're
help you
poking
read
the
between
bear.
the lines.
They're
No,
poking the bear.
no. First off, they couldn't care if the bear bit or not. Okay,
Right.
because
They don't
that's not the game here. When they say, despite these allegations, the Department of Justice is not explicitly looking to break up Google or impose specific fines. Yeah, because they don't have our backs. That's not
Yeah.
what it's about.
Right.
But instead, it's asking for structural relief as needed to cure any anti-competitive harm. So let me explain in government speak what that means. We are going to build another level of bureaucracy with the funding from any relief we seek here. So that money is not going back to the American people who might have been wronged through
Right.
an antitrust situation. This money is going to DOJ so they can build another operational unit within DOJ that they can pay salaries and overtime and provide additional oversight, but there's never any recourse. Okay.
Right.
It's an oversight. It's an
It's
oversight
sort
that
of like
has
the
no
54,000.
end game.
It's sort of like the 53,000 letters that were supposedly read by the FAA.
You know, it's creating a level of bureaucracy that does not serve us.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
And don't worry. Don't think this is partisan, that it's the 11 Republican
Oh
states.
no, because
the Democrats came out and
too.
said, yeah, we're jumping on the bandwagon too. Because look, if the Justice Department gets some bucks out of this so they can build their office up, what do you think happens with all these attorneys general throughout the country? They're looking for the same end game. Okay.
Yep.
So let me explain. When they confiscate that tractor trailer of goods, okay, or they catch that drug runner with all that money, okay, that money doesn't go to cure our debt in society. Right. That money doesn't go to treatment programs. That money doesn't go to mental health programs. That money goes to buy more toys.
Yep.
Okay. For those departments. So let's be clear about whose pockets getting lined to you. Okay. And I remember when they deregulated the airline industry, boy, did my round trip prices hit the roof, huh? And now you can't sit on a plane. If I sit on a plane with 135 other passengers, I would almost guarantee you that there's going to probably be 50 different levels of ticket prices.
Of course.
For the same damn seats.
And you know, okay. The baggage fees told me the airlines forgot what the hell they were in business to do.
Oh, well, no, baggage fees were those value adds that they were ripping out of your pocket. I mean, if you show up in person at the airport, they probably want to levy an additional fee. Okay.
You know what's the crazy thing about the baggage fees though? They tell you can take a bag you could check a bag, you can check 2 bags for 50 pounds a piece, right? Anything over that, right? If you have one bag and it goes over the 50 pounds, they start hitting you in the head, right? But yet I can have 2 50-pound bags.
Yeah. Well, 49 point. Okay, so 9 pounds.
You're not worried about the weight. You're just worried about what the baggage handlers will carry.
Pretty much.
Again, they are not paying additional insurance premiums on the baggage.
I get that.
Okay, this is going into the revenue stream. Yeah, this is part of the revenue stream.
That's what I was trying to tell you before, Lawrence. A lot of people, they'll get these people to watch you and on the job. Now, this happened in construction a long time ago. They get these guys that come along that never did your job to tell you how to do your job because the insurance company told them, listen, if you can get this fool to do this,
Risk assessors. Yep.
We'll give you that. But yet
Yep.
but the law states one thing, and they'll tell you this.
So I'm so old. I remember dressing up to take a flight.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh no, I get to plane with sweatpants.
Wait, dude.
Yeah.
I just have to say, the people I see walking down the aisle in bare feet, going into that restroom, dude. Okay. They're like the same people I take notice of in the restroom who don't wash their hands. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. My head is on a freaking swivel. Okay?
I'm not doing the belt thing. I'm not doing none of that. You gotta take your belt off and all. I got sneakers.
I pay I forget what the fee is for the 5 years worth of you can leave your shoes on. Okay. Because I'm usually traveling with a bag full of electronics that would make most suicide bombers jealous, right? So, I turn around and I do the frequent flyer stuff with the TSA and the pre-check. It's well worth the price of admission.
If there's a list that you can go on to not have your shoes taken off.
Yeah, TSA pre-check. You just got to go through the interview process.
So then if everybody went and got on that list, right? If everybody got on that list, right? Why they checking shoes?
Whoa, wait a second, Herman. So you're under the mistaken belief that there's a security issue? Come on, man. This is about dollars and cents.
I know
this is dollars and cents.
Because I remember right after September 11th, they had metal detectors all over Madison Square Garden, right?
Right.
A few months later, about the next year, you go to the show at Madison Square Garden, no more detectors.
Well, it's look, to be honest with you, you have to weigh the risk against the benefit, right? Not everything, not every step that was put into place really derived the benefit they were looking for. Plus, you got practicality. Plus, I mean, there's a lot going on here.
But States that says that sounds like the military and QC inspection.
Oh yeah, absolutely. But you know what? It really comes down to we don't understand that there is significant organizations involved in protecting us. I mean, just the Joint Terrorism Task Force, there are individuals from the New York City Police Department, the FDNY, and certain other organizations that we actually have staff over in Europe and over in Asia that are, NYPD and FDNY staff, part of the Joint Terrorism Task Force, members of the Marshals Group in the fire department. So there are a lot of people watching out for us.
A lot of people.
Cyber Command now. New York City has a new group called C3, or New York City Cyber Command. That's a group that oversees now all agencies and cybersecurity issues throughout all city agencies, which is pretty significant. And then what the FBI, the Secret Service, NSA, the CIA, there you see there was a matter of a couple of arrest warrants issued. I think there were 6 arrest warrants issued to Russian military members for their hacking activities against the U.S.
Okay, I think I heard something on that.
Yeah, so it's not the kid out of high school sitting in his mother's basement hacking us. I mean, these are concerted military operations. So, that leads into a story I'd like to cover about drone swarms and can the U.S. military defeat them in a war? So, there's some real concern because recently the United States Air Force released what's known as an RFI, request for information, much like putting out a bid, but without specifically stating what they were looking for. What they basically did was state the parameters.
Right.
And while medium, large, and longer range drone countermeasures have basically and substantially matured, that smaller form factor we're talking about in these drone swarms make it pretty difficult to track because it's still unique. And some of the problems you have with these smaller drones is the small size to start out with, the low radar cross section, the low infrared and radio frequency signatures they have, and their low altitude flight capability. Right. Now, if you're trying to be defensive and protect an area, and you have hundreds and hundreds of these things coming at you, and every time you shoot one down, another one takes its place kind of deal, you have some significant problems here. So the U.S. Air Force put out a request for information to the marketplace to see who can come up with solutions to deal with this. Okay. So it's I mean,
it's funny you mentioned drone swarming, because a lot of businesses are starting to use drone swarming too.
Well, think about it in the next story you're gonna cover.
Well, I wanted to cover a couple other things first, but because I wanted to mention this that ban, the ban on DJI, but I also wanted to talk about that Osmo, or the new Pocket, they call it, because I see they dropped Osmo off of it and they just go with Pocket.
Pocket 2.
Yeah. Pocket 2. So I mean, what a 3-axis gimbal? Yeah, we don't say
the 3-axis motorized gimbal. Yeah.
Yeah, but there's a few things here that they've done, and they've done if you go on DJI's to the online store, you will see they have a comparison, and a lot of the features are pretty much the same when it comes to the camera as far as video and stuff like that. But what I do like about it is the fact that because I've gone through the whole comparison, and DJI might as well start taking apart the old Osmo Pockets that they have in place and start using the parts for something else, because after they dropped this with this price here that they came out with this thing of $349, they're never going to sell another one of the old ones for $360.
Well, unless somebody wants to buy mine for $200. I mean, there's always a deal.
I'm talking about brand new, the old one. Well,
the old one, the bottom's going to drop right out.
The original,
absolutely. Or if $100 makes a difference, you might choose the older
it's
version.
Now, but it's no. But I'm just saying, you're talking about getting into something like the what they had, this package that they got with all of the other stuff in it, the microphone and everything.
Yeah, tell me, what's your favorite? But what would be your favorite accessory in that creative? So they don't call it a Fly More bundle; it's a creative bundle, right?
The external,
would probably
the external
be the
wireless mic.
The wireless, external
because
wireless
to me,
money seller.
To me, the things that attracted me to this new one was the fact that we have a 1/1.7 CMOS sensor.
Yeah, so it got larger.
It got a little larger, but the field of view got a little better.
Yes.
And the active track is better.
Well, it's an active track 3.0.
Right. So between those things and the microphone were the only problems that I had with the
microphone.
The audio. The audio on the Pocket is
it could have been a little bigger, but I got used to that. I even got used to the one thing that had been a gripe for me the whole time was that wheel that you mentioned earlier.
Yes.
Because I didn't like the fact that you had
up or down or sideways. Right.
If it was a joystick, I think it might have been a little bit easier to do a little.
And
again,
this one has a joystick.
It has it.
Right.
But here's my question.
That was the gripe that a lot of people had.
They also have that wheel again offered on the Pocket 2. Mm-hmm. So if the pinning is the same, then can I buy one of those joysticks for my old Pocket?
Interesting.
But I tell you,
maybe
right away,
I see if the thing slides over.
Yeah. When I saw in one of the early releases where they had some of the accessories, I saw a dead cat, which for those of you that don't know, that's a wind diffuser.
All the way in Australia.
Okay. That's a wind deflector for a wireless. To me, right away, I went, oh my goodness, there's a Rode Wireless Go system right there. So they basically built in the wireless receiver into the pocket go, and now you have the wireless transmitter with a dead cat that you can hook onto your clothes. And I mean, to me, it looks like a very useful vlogging tool, and that's basically what the Osmo series is, right?
Gotta have it. And that's why I said that was the thing that I really liked about the new one. You know, plus, like I said, the depth, the field of view was larger. The sensor is a little larger. Those are the things that,
Yeah.
I mean,
they're what people were complaining about.
Well,
Because
I
when you
mean,
have
the
bear
field
paws,
of view was terrible.
yeah.
Too narrow.
Because
And plus,
if
they
somebody
released
was next
a
to
wide
you,
angle lens.
right? But if somebody was next to you, it would track two people, but they basically
One
had
was
to
off
mug you to get in the shot.
Yeah.
Did any of you guys have issues with focus with the Osmo Pocket,
Yes.
the original?
I
had
a little bit.
I had it until a firmware release.
Sometimes it would focus on the object behind you.
Yes, that's the problem I was going to bring up. I just wanted you to finish talking. I would use that active track. I'll put it on selfie mode. Then I'll put it on that 2.7K because on 4K, it won't work with the active track.
Yep.
I would put the square on my head.
It does,
and I'll continue to vlog.
60 frames.
Yeah, I would continue to vlog with the 2.7K. I would get home because with that little screen, you can't tell what's focused and what's not focused. There's no way you could tell. So I get home after doing 100 takes, and I could read the signs behind me. I could everything's sharp, but I'm soft.
You know what I was going to tell you, Stevie? This is what I was trying to tell guys before. That phone holder, you can do the same thing if you connect the phone holder to a handle and just put the phone out there. You can see it better.
You'll
know what's going on.
Stevie, I know the real problem.
It's like having a little swivel on a.
Stevie, the real problem is you don't fill the frame the same way Herman does. See, if you fill more of the frame, it shouldn't lose focus on you, right?
He's too silly.
I've been in that frame with Lawrence and a couple other people.
No, I'm goofing.
Damn.
I was just looking at one of his videos. I was looking at one of his videos when he comes in.
I know that's true because
I was listening the last 10 minutes and Tom has been breaking some, Hey, he's breaking some balls out.
What is today known as? Today is hump day.
Yeah.
Oh, where's that mute button?
But you want to know what? You want to know what? Herman is right to get me or Justin in the video.
It's too tight.
I had to turn sideways like this. Herman was
straight. Hand on my pocket.
Justin had to
get
turn
very
sideways.
Get very intimate.
Listen,
all of a sudden I had to make myself thin.
All seriousness, I don't with my time the way it is, managing my time to vlog and managing my time to hustle and get things done and deal with family and stuff like that.
Sure.
I don't have time to go back in the field and do another vlog, so after a while, I literally took the Pocket and I put it on OfferedUp. I don't mess with eBay. I put it on those little selling sites and I gave up because I never had that problem with my iPhone and a gimbal. The iPhone would be perfect. I really got the Osmo Pocket to make everything smaller and I don't have to mess with my phone and kill the battery on my phone when I'm hiking and all that stuff.
Yeah.
It was so convenient. You put the little card in there.
Until it got hot.
Record all day.
Until it got hot.
Yeah, but the Pocket seemed like the perfect solution. And honestly, that thing has been on the market for 6-7 months now. I'm trying to get rid of it because I don't buy everything. I'm not one of those impulse buyers. Oh, something new, and I go buy it. But when I do buy it, I buy all the accessories. I buy everything to make it more convenient. So I do have the grip. I do have the extender arm thing that you could get with the it plugs in and what have you.
Herman's got the bionic arm, the bionic man arm.
Yeah, I bought all the accessories. I even bought other accessories to complement it, to make it even the features even better. Because I have those Luna cubes.
I have them all.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I have the Luna cubes. So I have these extenders that I bought on Amazon to kind of illuminate the picture.
I had
when
a
I'm running
problem
around.
with the charging case. How it I loved it, the design of it, where it slides out and all. Okay.
Yeah.
But the charging case was draining my Pocket battery for some reason.
Wow.
And I sent it back once.
I have it all.
They sent me a replacement.
Yeah.
Oh, well, that's the thing. When I sell my used gear, you know how I take care of my stuff. But it's a bonus every time I sell my stuff because, yeah, I'm the same way, Stevie. I accessorize the hilt out of it.
I'm selling. I had the Osmo Pocket with all the accessories I bought, everything that complements it, because what I'm going to do with it otherwise, you know?
Yeah.
But I was interested in the Pocket too. Yeah. You got the bouncy, keep it smooth.
I got it all.
I know I'm selling everything all together, but the Osmo Pocket 2 interests me, but I am concerned about the focus because I had focus issues with it. And I don't see a lot of people who reviewed it speak about this issue.
I think it's early. Yeah.
It's still early. Check out Billy Kyle.
Billy did a pretty good one.
Billy did a great
Kyle did one. I'm waiting to see one from I don't think Ken Dono would do one. No,
Ken's going to do one. In fact,
he is going to.
He got it. I think he was going to do a very exhaustive one, but he saw Billy already did one.
Okay.
And so he's going to do something different.
Okay.
Knowing Ken, that means he's going to find every way he can ding it. Okay.
Yeah.
So Ken will take the adversarial approach, I think, in his look at the Pocket 2, which to me serves my needs greatly. Okay.
Well,
I want that.
The interesting thing is I just went to the DJI store and they're selling the original Pocket for $369, the Pocket 2 for $349.
That's what I said.
It's like, what is
They're not going to sell any of them. They might as well take it apart and use the parts for something else.
Yeah.
You know, it still serves as a good entry for somebody, right?
I'm interested.
Why would you do it if you can get the new one for less money?
Right.
Well, no. I'm not saying that. I'm saying there's still a place for the used market. Okay. There's still a place for the used market. But new. No, you weren't doing
They're not going to sell another new old one.
I can't. Not if it's cheaper.
To put it on the website like that it makes no sense. But I tell you, as far as a person like myself selling it, you know, in these aftermarket
a first-time vlogger would jump on it, though.
People would jump on it. They're getting all the accessories. They're getting at a discount price. Yeah. Not everybody is filming like what we're trying to pull off. You understand? So this camera is great.
Stevie, not everybody is a creator.
Yeah, some people just want to document something simply. They could be going to, you know, just running around town or what have you. They don't need for it to be perfect. Another issue.
In the same breath, Stevie, you're not going to have the average Joe walking around with one in his pocket going world star. You know?
No.
You see, well, if you did, you probably get a lot of views because all you have to do is run around one of our little famous boroughs and you'll be getting fight videos all day.
Listen, if you hang out at the right bodega, you get news all the time.
Well, guys, check this out. The next thing I was saying with this camera is they've improved the ISO on this camera.
Yes.
Yeah.
What's needed to be
but
done.
not enough.
Because it has a bigger sensor.
Not
right?
enough. So Herman, this is the if you turn around and you go to Haya Costello's site, right? DJ, Drone DJ. He actually posted a video. So this I always find interesting because, you know, Haya's a lot better known in the industry than he's given credit for sometimes. So he was already shooting, with one of these devices. Actually, he was shooting with the Mavic Mini 2 camera, right? And now the Mavic Mini 2 camera, that sensor is just a little smaller than this sensor now, okay? But the place you could ding a Mavic Air 2, right, Stevie, is on its low light capability. Of course, it's not up to snuff with the 1-inch sensor on a Mavic 2 Pro,
Listen,
you know, but it's still better.
DJI has a problem with dynamic range all around the board.
Yes,
I mean, the best you could get is like that Phantom 4 Pro, but as you start going down the line, you see it's hard.
Been saying.
Yeah, if you put that zebra print on, that zebra effect that shows you what's overexposed.
Right. Your
if
highlight
you try
exposure
to,
warning.
Yeah, if you try to balance that out like you would on a Canon or a Nikon DSLR, if you would try to balance that out, your shot will be ruined. Because either something's going to be super, super dark, or you're going to have totally blown out. Like you have to sacrifice, with DJI products, you have to sacrifice something. Now, something as small as an Osmo Pocket, even worse. That sensor's way too
because
small.
you're talking about going from a sensor this size to a sensor this size.
Exactly.
Okay. And the amount of pollution you'll get across those photo sites. Okay. So when you're dealing with low light photography, it's much like trying to listen to a handy talkie radio and the person's not coming in clear. So what do? You turn up the squelch.
Yeah.
It gets noisier, but you can hear them.
Right.
Same principle here, guys. You're basically turning up the gain on the sensor or the electrical sensitivity charge on the sensor. And that's where you get that chromatic aberration and the pollution that it starts to get very noisy. And it's not the good noisy we sometimes add to our photos. This is that digital noise, and there's nothing pleasing about it.
Now tell me this.
Yeah.
How is Apple pulling off? Because like I said, I was using my phone for a long time, and I would get better picture quality from my iPhone.
Because
and I'm not talking about the
12.
I'm talking about way before the 12. I was getting better. I was getting less noise when I was doing the post-processing and the editing in DaVinci. I was getting less noise with the phone than I was with the DJI Pocket.
Right.
Yeah, there's oversampling that's done. There's a couple of different ways.
That's due to the overclocking of the sensors and
there's interpolation. There's a bunch of things that are happening that they can devote the processing power on.
Yeah.
Okay.
The science they're using, how they engineer the cameras on the iPhones and such.
Well, that's proprietary.
Yeah. But that's something that DJI has to invest in. How you doing, Ray?
Well, you know what? It's really,
you're never gonna find that, because your phone has to do the work for you. Because keep in mind, your phone is not for someone who is going to be creating anything. Your phone is for someone who has got to have the work done for them. It's usually the average Joe that's looking to snap shots. There's a difference between a guy that's working, taking photos, and a guy that's taking snapshots.
And the guy going world star.
Well,
he's on world star.
But think about it. Think about it now. When the first digital cameras came out, and I shot with the Nikon D1, okay, we had a very limited range of latitude of contrast, okay? And now with these cameras, like I shoot with a Nikon Z6, man, I got like 21 different latitudes of contrast, to the point where it's seeing stuff better than I do.
That's a beautiful camera.
It's seeing detail in the shadows. It's seeing detail in the highlights, right? This is amazing. We've become accustomed to it, but let's not forget there's a difference between a snap shooter and a photographer. Exactly. A photographer can take and be creative, like you're saying, Herman. You hand me just about anything, I'll find a way to pull off capturing the light, because photography,
as much as
that's light,
that's the capture of light.
It's light.
The recording of light.
It's all about light.
If I only have 9 latitudes of contrast, I better figure out what I want it to be, where I want to bring my focus and show and share my image with. Right. So it really comes down to, hey, do I want something I can just grab and point at anything and it's going to solve all my problems? That's your phone.
Right, but
if I want to be creative,
but Tom,
then I'm going to go for a different tool set.
Exactly. Right. We're talking with the cameras on the drones and the cameras you're talking about, we have parameters that we can work within, but his phone gives him what he has to have.
And that's because of first off, there's proprietary technology being used. Okay. And there's different layers. Remember, we had Fuji cameras that said they were 48 megapixels when Nikon and Canon only had a 12 megapixel camera. What they weren't telling you was they were layering the sensor
what they're
or
doing
the
here.
fervor on
Yeah.
top of each
Oh,
other.
that sounds like that Auto Evo.
Overclocking.
Yeah.
Doing
Okay. So
here.
so you want to know what this is called? This is called 3-card Monty.
There you go.
Okay.
There you go. 3-card.
There's how many different ways to pull off the same thing, but everyone has a slightly different flavor.
Right.
Okay. Does a Nikon and a Canon? I mean, there are some experts out there, and I'm not one of them, that can probably tell the difference between the two shots. Okay. They don't do anything else in life.
There are a few
okay.
people. Yeah, I agree.
But a discerning eye can see the differences. I mean, look, Stevie, some of the stuff you pull off, you shouldn't be pulling off with what you're working with, but you're able to do it
For sure.
because you know how to work with it, you know how to finesse it, and you know how to pull out what you need to pull out of it.
Yeah.
So,
But you know,
we're talking about people who are just going to take the shot and share it. That's a totally different game.
But you know, us people that came from the photography world, we are like spoiled, and then we have to fight with, with the DJI products as far as trying to get that dynamic range and trying to find that balance so you don't have too much grain when you're pulling up the shadows up.
Yeah.
But then you don't want the sky all the way blown out because you want to get that texture from the clouds. And it's something that I think I love DJI. Don't get me wrong, and I love them for what they make. I'm not a fanboy because I'm just DJI, whatever they make. I'm a fanboy because they make great stuff in comparison to what's out there in the market, right?
Yeah.
But I would love if they would put more into the cameras, man. Like more into the dynamic range, get more into those shadows, so we don't have to struggle so much in the post processing.
When you see what they're doing at the
I'm not shooting them down. I'm not shooting them down. But I feel like almost I'm doing Mavic Air 2 a lot, right? Obviously, you guys seen the videos and such. But honestly, I just feel like the 4 Advanced is going to come out soon because I'm missing a little bit of that little bit extra that I could get out of that one sensor, 1-inch sensor.
Like me and Herman always said,
they
don't think nothing better than that CMOS. They can keep all their other drones.
Well, that's what I'm trying to tell you. That's what I say. The bigger the eye, the better the see. Yeah. Everybody that has anything that had to do with any learning the cameras knows that if you can see the better image, even when we went back to using film, you get a better image out of a bigger negative.
Right.
35 millimeter was.
I did it, Stevie. I bought it.
You got the Mavic Air 2?
Yeah. But we also had 2.25 and we had 4x4. And those things made better images than a 35 millimeter.
See, this is my thing.
Going into digital photography and videography and stuff like that, we looking at these drones, and I keep saying to you, we need larger sensors. Why you need a larger sensor? Because damn it, the better the eye sees, the better the image quality.
But some people might. Well, hey, how you doing, Eddie? I see you in the chat. Some people say, that most drone owners have enough.
Eddie.
But like you said, Herman.
Look.
If you could get better image quality, why not? You understand? So, you got phones. You got phones pulling off better technology as far as with the cameras than some of these drones that are flying around. As far as handling the engineering of handling with noise and such. So my thing is, the Mavic Air 2 is great. You can get around with it. It's smooth. I could bring it with me when I'm running around with the family and still get a shot that I wouldn't get because I wouldn't bring the Phantom around with me like that. But if I had to make that decision, I think the Phantom will come out only because I could get more out of it in post work, after the fact.
That Phantom can give you that money shot. The Mavic 2 Pro can give you that money shot because of that sensor.
And I'm not disputing any of that. I'm not disputing any of that.
And
but don't undervalue your skill set.
If I showed up at your
what you got
with 4 iPhones and an Osmo to take pictures and video, would you still pay me that money?
But Herman, I'm glad you mentioned that, Herman. I'm glad you mentioned that.
What Tom said? He said, don't undervalue your skill set. And I know this is true because you have to learn how to make what you have work. When everybody was flying the Mavic 2 Pro and the Phantom 4 Pro, I was flying a 3DR Solo and or a Phantom Standard. It's about making.
You're right, but like I'm saying to you, with a phone, we're saying that a phone is proprietary stuff that they're doing with those cameras to create those images. There are certain things that you can and cannot do with them.
Right. But you know, it goes back to what you guys were saying about what Herman was saying about going into job sites with phones. Like, for instance, I've heard through other drone pilots that do jobs that sometimes they go to meetings and they bring the Inspire, but when they actually go to do the job, they bring the Mavic 2 Pro and do the job with the Mavic 2 Pro. The Inspire is just for the meeting to flex on them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then they come in and make a smooth, do whatever they have to do with the 2 Pro and get in and get out, and they're done with it. But that's the same thing. That's the same thing when I was doing the little promo videos with my gimbal and an iPhone. I would make a video, right, for, whoever, and somebody else would see it and be like, listen, I need a little promo video too to put on Instagram. Right away, the first response and the first sentence, I let them know that that's a gimbal and iPhone. If you don't mind me showing up to shoot you with a gimbal and iPhone, that's fine. These are the rates, boom, 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 send the email, done. Yeah. You understand? Because you don't want to like throw them off. They see the little promo video you made for somebody else, and then you show up with a stick and a phone, and they think you're going to come with a DSLR with a big giant gimbal and stuff,
For a lot of things. But when you start going into somebody's wedding, the images that they want to capture for the rest of their life, that you understand, she's not going to accept that because there is certain things you cannot do with it.
True.
Yeah.
I shot weddings for close to 20 years. Okay, and believe me, a bridezilla is born every minute on this planet. Okay. So you better come. I actually, I mean, it was all under contract.
Yeah.
My deposits weren't refundable. Mothers stayed out of the mix. We got to the point where we were interviewing them. They weren't interviewing us. Okay. Because we worked on referral. But we had 3 camera buddies. I stopped shooting. I would think I was 5 years into shooting weddings when I stopped shooting weddings alone. And from that point out, I only shot weddings with a second shooter. And the second shooter had to come with 3 camera buddies. I had 3 camera buddies. My bride got paid also because she was our photo assistant. We wore ear mics so we could communicate. And believe me, there wasn't a shot we didn't cover. But you got to figure, for a standard wedding, we would capture over 3,000 images.
Right.
Now you got to go through 3,000 images. Okay. So when you start talking about price, I would often say it'd be cheaper. I'd probably have a better side gig if I flip burgers at McDonald's. Wow. My second shooter did well. My wife did well, as is apparent by her shoe closet. And I was the one stuck editing 3,000 images.
Well, that's the thing.
As a result of that, Stevie, you start to pick up certain skills, right? One of the first things I learned was, and this is a good trick for anybody who's just getting involved in shooting, be prolific in shooting, but do one thing and one thing for sure. Don't show us all your shots. Okay?
Never.
The only shot you should ever show us is what you think is the award. Okay. So I'm going to just put out a couple of quick tips in Lightroom. Don't rate your images to 1 star through 5 stars, because I'm going to tell you this. Photography is not like wine. It doesn't age well. Okay? A 2-star image is going to stay a 2-star image. Yeah. So either pick or don't pick an image. Then when you get down to that list,
you could take
even be more discerning.
You could take a 2-star image to Photoshop and make it a 2.5 star.
Right. But it's not worth the effort. And here is the number one trick that saved me a ton of time. Mm-hmm. Now, here's how you tell the difference between a snap shooter and a photographer. A snap shooter is going to come up to something and go, okay, got it. A photographer is going to come up and go, couple of shots this way, make sure I get a couple of shots that way. Let me get it from this angle. Let me get it from that angle. And until I hit that image that I've already perceived in my mind, okay, I keep shooting. So here's the trick. Edit your images in the reverse order in which you shot them. Okay? Because how many of the same thing are you going to shoot? Usually you don't move on until you got the shot you wanted. That's usually the last shot.
Right.
Right? So
you're right about that.
edit in reverse. And I would go from 3,000 images taking,
I still got one.
Yeah, I do too.
I still got one.
Yeah. But you go from spending 10, 12 hours trying to go through 3,000 images, you're down to 3 or 4 hours to get through all those shots. And the other thing we would do is we would give the couple, okay, only about 150 to 200 shots, depending on their price level, to review. And we would not put in all the environmental shots,
they always come back,
the
Tom,
table
say,
dressings or anything like that.
They always come back and say, and I've had this happen, do you have this shot from another angle? I was hoping to catch so-and-so in the background.
But if you give them too many shots to go over, they'll be into a new relationship before they ever order your album, okay? And in my world, my albums were already prepaid. You paid for everything for your wedding before you actually got married. Because if your vows didn't last 6 months, that wasn't on me. Okay.
Right. That's not your fault.
But I would give them a workbook that I would have them identify 70 to 90 shots they absolutely wanted in their album and 30 to 40 shots they never wanted to see again. I didn't know they didn't like Uncle Harry, but had to invite him because of Aunt Edith, right?
Right.
But again, I would only give them a short time frame.
Right.
Otherwise, you could forfeit your monies because some couples would take 2-3 years to make a decision. I'm no longer making a profit if it's 2-3 years out in the game. So, these things you learn over time, you gain that experience, just like the work you're doing, Stevie, that didn't just come to you. You just didn't throw that drone up in the air and capture something. That came with a skill set behind it that you've been nurturing for a while.
Right. But there's all of us have encountered this, and it's you go to do a job or someone asks you to do something. And I thought I would share this picture because it's funny, but it's not funny because I don't like lessening or cheapening my work. And this picture explains it all right here. I can't say any more about it. And I'm being honest because I give my A game when it comes to doing shit for people,
it's your name.
especially
feel.
for money. You give your A game, but when they come to you and they say, "Can you make it cheaper?" This is how I feel.
But the thing about that is that people don't understand that when you do work, regardless of what it is, I don't care if it's photography or even anything. That's your name. You did the work. That's your name. So if you try to do it for cheaper or less effort involved in it, they still going to go back to you because you did it. They don't care about the conversation that was in between that situation. You understand? So that's why I don't bother. Just like Lauren said, I don't bother. I don't care. People send me emails all the time. Could you do that for half price? Or can you do this for that? I'm like, I'm not really interested.
Know what?
Because honestly, that time is going to be taken away from my family. And that's the worst part. You understand? That means I'm going to be somewhere doing a half-ass job and not being with my family and doing you a favor and not even
time you can't buy
amount.
Yeah.
It
took me a while to learn this, and not just in the drone game, but in life in general. Don't ever undersell yourself. When you give someone a price, you stick to that price because they're always going to come back and say, "Can you do it for cheaper?"
I've gotten the people who said, "Can you shoot this?" And don't worry, I have a whole bunch of people who are looking for this type of work too. So can you give me? I said, "Well, I'll give you the true value of my work, and that's what I want you to share with them." Okay, I'm sorry, I offer the same discount to everyone.
You
the
know what I
pledge
would
that
do?
I'm going to give them the best effort possible.
Yeah.
What I would
Great.
do when I was doing photos for modeling agencies when they were building up the books for the girls,
Yeah.
and they would say, "Listen, I'll do it for this amount, but I have like 100 girls. We're gonna stay busy. We're gonna be working every weekend." I'll just tell them, "Listen, we'll do bulk then. Give me deposit in bulk. We're gonna do 10 girls this month. Give me deposit for 10 girls. Boom, I'll give you the discount right there. Because now I got money up front. You understand? And then I'll make
That ain't
moves.
happening.
But
Yeah.
I'm not doing a discount and then doing one girl at a time. And then all of a
Well,
sudden you got
here-
another photographer jump in the scene. And all of a sudden I got cut off and I lost
Somebody will
profit.
always look to undersell you.
Well,
Yeah,
see,
but
look,
But that's
Tom,
not your
100%.
competition. That's not your
Listen,
competition.
No.
in the end of the day,
You can't.
these photographers don't understand that
They
they're in the race.
lowball.
They're in the race to the bottom. If they're trying to compete with price with other people, and then you got these other guys that just bought cameras, really, really nice cameras, and they don't even know how to use them, and they're
Well,
willing to do it for
it's
free.
funny because one of my good friends.
I
and,
see that a lot.
He was my second shooter for a long time, and we always goof on each other. You know, when other people look at our images
Give me a
and they
sec.
go, "Wow, that's something." I'll always say to him, you know, "Boy, you must own a really nice camera." Okay, that's the worst thing you can say to a pro photographer.
Yeah.
Okay.
Of course.
You want a reaction? Say that to a professional photographer.
That's like
Okay.
telling. Listen, that's like going to a fancy restaurant and telling the chef, "You have a great oven. Your oven's amazing."
Yeah.
The
That's an
oven don't
amazing
make the
spatula
freaking
you
food.
have.
Yeah, that's
No,
amazing.
no.
That oven is outrageously great.
What are you cooking
Yeah.
on back there?
Like he didn't season it.
No, well, that's what it is.
Hey guys,
Your collective experience is borne out by the quality in your product and how you deliver it, and how you, if the customer perceives value, they'll come back. If the customer thinks they got a deal and that's all they're in for, they're going to still deal and wheel and deal. They're not going to be loyal to you. Okay. It's loyal customers you want padding your pocket, not the onesies, twosies. Those are like, hey, you know, as guys, we didn't mind the one night stands, but it got old pretty quick, right?
But listen,
And that's what those kinds of jobs are, is nothing but one night stands
I'm
without
gonna tell you
as
something.
much pleasure.
What a lot of people don't understand is when they first coming out the gate in photography or any kind of business, part 107, you're doing some jobs, whatever, is that you don't need those people. People get nervous, like I get a couple of dollars now, I'll build up my resume. You really don't need them, because when you start taking the people that are serious and willing to pay, that's you end up saving so much time and you make the money in the long run. In the meantime,
and they respect your work.
Yeah. In the meantime, you could sharpen your skills. And you
Yeah.
could schedule yourself the way you want to schedule yourself, because time is worth more than money. Time goes by fast. And if you want to waste your time dealing with people just because you want to build your resume, that's fine. That's up to you. Me personally, I time is everything to me, right? So I try to fill it up the right way. So I wouldn't take a half-paid job just because I want to put something and say that I did the job. You know,
I would put out there, here's my half day rate, here's my day rate. Okay.
Your clientele will be better.
And
I know
those
people that
starting
built I know people that built great businesses that way. They wouldn't take those low ball offers. They didn't care. They always dealt with people that are willing to pay a large amount. And now all their clientele are big payers. They don't have no clients that are trying to chew them down on the price.
Yeah.
None.
In
all
fact,
their clients
Stevie,
pay. So
when I
invest in that.
raised my prices, I actually got more customers.
Yeah, because people respect. That's another thing. You cannot charge too little, because people are going to think that you don't even respect your own work to charge more.
Yep.
You understand what I'm saying? So you have to charge. You have to see what your competitors are charging and be there or above. And I would recommend be above, especially if you have great product out there.
But again, deliver on that dollar.
Yeah.
Deliver on the dollar.
But you gotta be a little bit old school when it comes to that stuff and give a little more. If they're willing to pay, you know, besides the courtesy and all the other stuff, deliver a little more. Throw them a little bone, because you're thinking long term, right?
There was always, when I delivered that album, I wasn't a big one on selling the mother's albums and stuff, because you were paying enough. And I'm not talking about cheap weddings here. Okay. We're talking about 5-figure prices for weddings. And
Yeah.
so we would deliver the album, okay, custom made album. We did all the layouts and everything, but it got delivered in a briefcase, a quality crafted leather briefcase. It fit perfectly because it was custom made that way. And then after we showed them the album, and we knew you get a cha-ching, cha-ching when you see some tears, okay? And then without even being asked, we'd hand them, okay, parents' albums, because we already figured that into our price. It wasn't that we were going on the cheap. We already figured that into our package, but we just didn't tell them that they were getting that. They were paying for what they thought, and here we come across with 2 parent albums for them. Because honestly, the cost on those parent albums, they're just duplicates. And if you've ever worked with album sales, you know that's a very, very cheap price tag. But to the customer, they perceive that value. So now when it became time for them to have a family, they thought about you for the maternity shots. They thought about you for the newborn shots. They, and that's how because remember that photographer, look at the wonderful work. They gave us a wall portrait. Sometimes we do that. We do the wrap canvas on a large image, and that would be the gift we gave them. And remember, everybody who came in the house would marvel over that. And where'd you get that done? So that is how you drummed up business. So if you only had 5 customers a month because you charged your necessary rate versus, 15, 20 customers a month you were lowballing yourself on, boy, you were definitely breaking a sweat on 15 to 20, because the less they pay, the more they demand.
Right.
Okay. And
Agreed.
that's what I found to be the case. When my customers were paying $15,000 to $17,000 to $18,000 for a wedding, they didn't even bother you. They wrote you the check. Okay.
Mhm.
But if somebody wanted a $1,500 wedding, they expected a $15,000 wedding. So set your expectations, make sure you can meet or exceed them, and then deliver on the promise.
Okay, Herman.
So you guys are familiar with the fires that have been going on out west and stuff like that, and
Yes.
I feel bad
Yeah.
when it's in harm's way of these things, but drones are helping post-fire reforestations, and there was an article that I saw that came out on the 6th of this month. Droneseed, a startup company, has gotten approval from the FAA for their heavy lift drone swarms to for reforestation in California, Colorado, Montana, Nevada, Arizona, and in New Mexico.
Look at that.
Now,
Wow.
this will allow them to fly beyond the visual line of sight.
Yes.
And this is, like I said, it's a startup company, and this will start in California as soon as the fires are under control and the airspace is cleared. Now, this approval is the first of this agency, and this Droneseed, their drones carry a payload of 57 pounds. 57
Yes, of
pounds
seeds.
Of
Seeds,
And,
seed vessels, seed vessels.
Right.
Yeah.
and they fly in swarms of 5. And they are. This is their third.
This is the
presidential
drone right here. This is it right here.
approval from-
Yeah, this is a heavy lift drone.
Right, this is the third approval from the FAA so far, for just company Droneseed. And
Right.
their plan is they can get started within 60 days of approval of time to fly. They don't have to go through all the other precautions and everything. They're ready to go because they say that it is vital that they get these seeds planted right away before that ground starts to harden.
Exactly.
And start changing. So I thought this was a very interesting story because right now, there's a lot of damage to the forest out there.
Well, one of the unique things that happens here also is normally the way they would handle this is they would reforest off-site, meaning they have to
And
they have to take these nursery trees over a couple of years and plant them in a nursery and then bring them in. But the problem with that is the forest floor has already repopulated itself with weeds and everything, and those steal nutrients from the soil. And remember, after a forest fire, there's nothing but nutrients there.
Exactly.
I mean, it's nutrient-rich environment.
That's why it's important to
right.
get.
But it was also saying that these
exactly
cover over 20 miles.
Yes, and much more effective range because with the swarm of 5, they're working in concert with each other.
Yes.
So their patterns, okay, don't overlap and waste, okay, or leave huge gaps.
This is right here. It's showing that with these 5 drones, not only is it 6 times faster than a tree planter, but they can cover 40 acres per day.
Wow.
With this drone right here, with 5 of these drones. So 40 acres compared to hundreds of acres that are burned. It's most imperative that this gets done, like Herman said, while the soil is soft. You know, and it's like Tom mentioned also, it's a lot easier. I'll put the link up so you guys can check out the page. But this main page here shows the planter. They show the drone dropping the seeds right here as it goes. And then it'll
so
go
the seed is inside a vessel that helps promote the growth, saves it, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And what also happens is these will take from seedling to stalk in so much quicker time because of all that rich ash that's there on the forest floor. So it's not wasted on the weeds that, you know, could take 2 to 3 years to grow the nursery trees.
Exactly.
Now, in those 2-3 years, you don't have to go back in and weed the floor before you put them in. So it's much more cost effective. And your coverage, as a result of that, your coverage area can be much larger.
Right. The fact that you can cover 40 acres in one day is amazing. How many people would you need to cover 40 acres in a day? How much equipment would you need to clear that area first? And then have the people come in with the trees. Not only have a lot of these places you cannot get to by truck, a truckload full of trees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And what they were doing back in the day before this event came up was they were literally taking trees and wrapping them together. And I've seen this and bringing them in helicopters, which usually damaged a lot of the trees.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, you're talking about ground. Some of that ground is that places where don't they have to like drop firemen in to fight some of these fires?
Mm-hmm.
Well, they're called smoke jumpers. And yes, because of the terrain. Now realize when you talk about 40 acres, you're talking about 1,400 feet by 1,400. And on rough terrain, you're not going to be able to get people in there to cover those areas. Okay. Mm-hmm. With these, irregardless of the terrain, you can cover that 40 acres. Okay. Now, yes, you're right. In order to fight some of these fires, they have smoke jumpers that will jump into the midst of these. Now, you talk about some brave MFs, man. You know, you're jumping into the middle of a fire, and basically, what a lot of times they're jumping in. Remember, they're not jumping in with fire hoses and an engine that can pump 200 gallons a minute. They're jumping in with a shovel and a pitch and maybe even a fuel can. And if they do have a water can, it's nothing but an Indian can on their back.
Yeah, but
so
see these
that's some crazy stuff.
These areas that I'm showing right here, you cannot get trucks in here to replant.
You can't get in there. You can't get in there.
Exactly. Right? Exactly. And the size of these drones is more than sufficient for covering areas like this. The fact that they fly in swarms of 5, and this one is actually seeding. Hold on, let's see if I can go back and pause it. This one right here is actually seeding as it goes along. Now there was an access road there, but how far do you have to lug these trees from an access road when the drone can fly up to the road's edge?
It's not cost effective.
And then start its next loop.
Anything can be done for a price, but where's your break even, right?
Yeah.
So this to me is labor saving, it's cost saving, And as a result of those two components, you reduce your liability and can put out more product in a quicker time frame. Okay. And our reliance on these forests
risk
is
factor.
well, yeah, but think about these wildfires aren't happening. And I'm sorry if this sounds like a political view. This is called climate change, people. Okay. And one way to deal with climate change is to use science. Okay. To try to right some of this.
Well, that's
instead of using politics to decide whether we reforest these assets we have in this country.
Well, the gentleman in the video from the company was saying the same thing. You know, a lot of it has to do with the climate change, and the science is the only way, you know, that we're going to be able to conquer this issue.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the link to the Droneseed site. They do have videos on other pages showing that they're not amateurs at this. They've been doing it for a while. And the fact
they've been doing heavy lift. Yeah.
The fact that they can get in between 30 and 60 days makes or breaks whether that forest will regrow or not, or start regrowing.
Yeah, absolutely.
They're able to get in right away, and it doesn't take them long to do what they have to do either.
And also, Tom mentioned that these seeds are inside a vessel. Well, a lot of times these seeds can get hung up and caught up in places, but this vessel ensures, like he said, that those seeds survive the fall to the ground, the covering with the moisture and all of that. These vessels absorb moisture to make sure that these seeds stay fed and things.
Yeah, they can germinate.
Right, exactly. So it looks like they've been doing it for a while.
Well, you know what? Honestly, Lawrence, you know that's been going around a lot in the city. You know, you ever see like some of these lots that may pop up and may look like a garden with a lot of times what people do is they throw seedlings in there. Because I know in some of these there's environmental stores where they sell a lot of clean, environmentally safe products. They sell seedlings in there for you to do that.
Yeah, well, it's the smart way. I mean, the fact that this drone can carry 50-something pounds of seeds, and the seed pods, if I'm correct from the side of them, they look like small, maybe half the size of a golf ball, from what I've seen. And because they're distributed, if you look at the picture, let me pull it up again.
That's exactly.
I don't know if you guys can see this on screen, but the drones that are flying across the screen, dropping these seeds, okay, they're not dropping one out of one chute. They're staggering them out of the sides of it. And you can see here, right side, left side, right side, left side. Same thing with this one. So it's working. And what better way to fill in a hole in the middle of a forest too?
Oh yeah.
Well, again, terrain denies access to a lot of these locations. And you say to yourself, okay, so what's the big deal? Why do we need trees over there? Because trees are the only reason we're breathing.
Right.
Okay. So, you know, and then you have the fauna, the wildlife, and the other things, the other flora that survives because of the shade of trees. You know, all these things start to come together, and they're scrubbing this carbon dioxide we're exhaling, and they're giving us back oxygen. So, you know, we're pretty foolish when it comes to this stuff. You know, climate change is going to cost a nice penny to try to deal with, but let's put it off to the point where we no longer have an option to succeed, right? So that's why I think a company like this is really making some significant strides. You know, just this season alone with the number of wildfires, and we covered a story the other day about, you know, a contingent of public safety members, first responders from New York going out there to assist with this.
Right.
This is real, people. This is really happening to us. And if you've not spent any time traveling this country, take the advantage. This country is amazing. We have a slice of the earth here that you go from all kinds of climates. It covers everything.
Yeah.
There's something for everybody here. And to lose our forests out in the West, that's a national treasure.
Yes.
That forget about a national treasure. That's a human treasure. Okay. And that's why a company like this and the use of this technology is proven what we've been saying on these shows for a long time. Okay.
Yeah.
You know what? These things are good, not necessarily evil. You can turn anything into evil, right? We all know that. Okay. I can turn this writing instrument I call a pen into something evil and shove it, into your neck.
Whoa.
Should we ban these? Okay. Put Staples on notice now. Okay?
Only on the New York stream.
I want 2 forms of ID before you're allowed to buy this.
You don't hear things like that in other people's streams.
No, you don't. See, we bring in a unique slice of life.
That was the New York twist on it.
That's the New York twist. But it does. It gets to be utter ridiculous. Some of the arguments you hear against this industry.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is technology, people. It's advancing. Either hang on or get ready to fall off. One or the other.
There's no stopping it. There's no stopping it because, like you said before, if it's cost efficient, if you're saving somebody money, because America is driven by money, you saving companies money. There's no way you're going to stop the technology, and that's the bottom line.
If it's not from true savings, then it's coming from cost avoidance. And in light of what's going on in this world today,
and liability,
you need to make you need absolutely.
And you mentioned liability,
money, right?
And that's big money. That's even bigger money.
Liability can take the dollar out of your pocket quickly.
A lot of people spend most of their money on insurances. And a lot of people don't understand that. Insurance will drain your business.
Oh, yes.
You want to make moves in New York City, you have to have workers' comp. You have to have liability comp. You have to have certificates coming out of everywhere just to make a move.
So, Drone Boys, you got to slow down. Otherwise, they're going to call you a Tom fanboy. So lighten up there, bro.
Tom is a thug. Yeah.
But and especially when you have something like this here where, another article that I saw from October 9th in Drone Life, the Department of Justice seems to have made this ban official. So also there was a letter or a document from the United States Department of Justice, and these things are stating that no agency may use the Department of Justice funds for any unmanned aircraft manufactured by any covered foreign entity. Now, meaning that no funds for purchase, use, or operation for any unmanned aircraft from their money in the United States will be used. So if those DJI drones or your foreign-made drones, they're not using them. Now, what makes that so interesting to me was that I had saw an article that said that there was an exception that was being made because of these fires and them needing to use the drones for, to help with fighting in these fires. And after checking this out, I see that now that this is not, this ban actually isn't inclusive because they're saying that there's exceptions if you can, if they already have in place a procedure that, that ensures the security of the platform, that they can go ahead and use these foreign-made drones such as DJI drones. And I think that, something like this is really crazy because, they're really, what I'm understanding from saying securing the platform is that they may be worried about data leaks and stuff like that. But once again, a ban on something like this is hurting different agencies from the FBI to NOAA to NTSB. It's covering all across, the platform of agencies in the government that cannot use these Chinese-made drones. And like I said, during the time of the forest fire, certain exceptions were made because they needed them.
Right.
I was wondering what you guys thought about that. That's why I brought this to your attention. You know,
well, it's taken opportunities away from these agencies to actually accomplish some meaningful work. There are systems in place. You can wrap that data so that data is not going back to the mothership, so to speak.
Yeah.
There are alternatives there. They just have to leverage them. It was just this blanket. We're not going to let you do this. But where it also hurts and where you see it, I think you'll see a more direct impact is with the local public safety agencies. That, again, we mentioned this. They, coming by money is hard these days. It's really difficult, especially with everything going on. But the demand on the first responders is enormous. And now you're going to tell them, look, yeah, we won't give you money because we're worried about security. Security is not the issue when you're doing a search and rescue for a kid in the woods. Okay. Yeah. Security is not the issue when you're trying to protect firefighters operating on a roof that's fully engulfed in flames. Okay. This is where we're coming up short. We're dictating these overreaching policies that there are ways to work with, but there was no attempt to. It was just we're going to stop this. But you created a void. This country hasn't invested in in-country drone manufacturing.
No, we haven't.
That didn't happen. It didn't happen until somebody said, "Oh, we don't want to be lining their pockets," right?
Well,
you start a little late and you come up short because there's a void now. There's a void. How do you fill that void? And how do you do it at a reasonable price? Yeah, there's product out there, Herman, but it's 3, 4, 5 times the cost of admission.
Well, you see, what they did was destroy a lot of off-the-shelf, out-the-box solutions to a lot of their problems. And, you have a company like DJI, like I said, is being singled out, but yet the government knows that they're in total control of the data. So I don't know where they were actually going with that.
Well, like Tom said earlier, unfortunately, it's all politics. Everything's tied into politics now.
Well,
and that's when we hit a barrier, huh?
I've said that many a times because we sit here and we try to talk about these drones, and it's not that easy to talk about them without talking about politics.
Yeah. Well, true. See, here's the underlying, right? The underlying is, you're coming up short because look at what we're dealing with right now, a pandemic, right? How are we choosing to deal with it? Through science? No, we're going to deal with a pandemic through politics. So that already tells you we're coming up short. So now when it comes to drones, you can see the similarities, okay? We're going to ignore the obvious approaches to deal with this, and we're going to take a different road, and we're going to over-regulate it. We're going to charge you for those over-regulation, and then we're still going to come up short on budget because now I got to hire all these people to regulate it, okay? So all I've created is a bigger animal that I'm feeding, but I'm getting no real joy or entertainment from.
Exactly.
Okay. And it's bureaucracy. It's bureaucracy at its best.
It's
okay.
Bureaucracy.
There's a video you guys got to watch. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's probably up on YouTube. It's called Drone Wars. Not Drone Wars. Wait. Pentagon. I'm trying to remember the name. But any good project manager had to have watched this before taking their PMP exam. And it's how the US government started to build a troop carrier. But then somebody thought, well, it should have a gun on top. And then somebody else thought it should have a bigger gun on top. And then somebody else got to it and said, well, there's too many people on it. We could put more munitions on it, okay, if we got rid of some of the people we had on board. Until the end of the road, they built a tank. But they didn't need a tank. They needed a personnel carrier.
Right.
Okay. And the tank still didn't get built, but the cost to get to the tank design, which already existed somewhere else, but it wasn't the same committee. Okay.
Right.
That's bureaucracy at its best. And that's what we're dealing with right now.
Oh, yeah.
Well, it's almost that time. Funny how when you have a good conversation, the night goes by quick. And When you're sitting here going ooh and ah, it drags for some reason. But
We had a lot of stuff to talk about. Wish we had more time, but
Sunday.
I'm back Sunday.
Let's do it Sunday.
only-
Keep those notes.
Sunday.
Only if you hit that thumbs up button. We'll
That's
let you back in.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
I had something I wanted to talk about too, but if I can make it Sunday, I'll bring it up.
No
Bring
problem.
up the topic now, so we got everybody coming back to hear.
No,
it.
no, I wanted to
you can-
talk about. I didn't want to get you hot and bothered at almost 7
Give him a
o'clock,
teaser.
Tom. It's
Give him
really
a teaser.
Tom. It was about the
No,
batteries.
no, dude.
It's about
Yeah,
the
don't
batteries.
worry, dude.
But I'm not gonna.
My
I'm not
stomach's growling.
Yeah.
My
I
stomach's
don't want to
growling.
get Tom
It's okay.
all revved up.
I'm calming down.
We'll save it for Sunday, but it's beyond the bloated batteries. It's batteries that don't show any signs of having any issues. They're not bloated. They're not nothing. They seem like they're perfect batteries, and they're failing in midair.
Where
And that is
voltage
the Mavic
drops
2
out from
batteries.
under you.
They're literally going from full to zero. But the thing is, if you look at the app, it says it's all green and it's all full.
Mhm.
But it says zero, critical landing, forcing you to land. And they're not bloated. They show no signs of stress of anything, no nothing. So it's beyond the bloated batteries.
And this is happening on what? Your
The Mavic 2 Pro. It happened to my
Okay.
friend
Let me ask
just
you
the other day.
How many charges has he got on this battery?
I'm gonna get all that information. We're gonna kind of like try to research it for other people to
Anybody
learn.
listening to me now, please, if you got a DJI drone and you fly it, if you got 20 charges, after every 20 charges, please do a deep cycle discharge.
Yes. If you don't know what a deep cycle
discharge.
discharge is, YouTube it like you do everything else.
Let it run down and then charge and make sure all the cells come up together.
See, what we should do is put something together like a video with all this information and put it out there, because people are gonna lose their drones. I mean, I witnessed it just the other day.
We could work on a public service announcement.
Yeah, like those guys putting that knowledge and just make a quick 1-minute video or something that people will actually watch.
We have
no more
enough
than a minute.
background, don't we, Stevie?
Yeah. Because this is insane. Like the fact
Well,
that
they provide small devices like this on each of the drones. If you ever got a fly more combo where you can hook it up to the battery and pull 2 USB ports off of this, so you have ways of draining and maintaining your batteries. But to put all the information in one place would be helpful.
yeah.
But again, people right out of the box, let's charge them up. I'm going to get a half a flight out of it. I'm going to throw it up on the shelf and I'm going to leave it there for 8 weeks. The weather got a little nasty and pull it back out, and I'm in a heap of hurt at that point. Yeah, the voltage has been dropping out. I've noticed a lot of postings online, Stevie, where it's not even that the battery's chubbing up. Okay, it's basically the voltage just drops out, and of course,
Sounds
know,
like
it's
a
crazy.
quality
Necessary
control
numbers.
thing for me.
What's crazy is that it's not, the battery itself is not dropping out. Like if you check it on the app, it's full. It's the communication between the battery and the app. Something like a sensor or something is telling
Stevie,
the app that the battery's empty.
Some Stevie for Sunday.
All right. We'll
Yeah.
talk Sunday. Thank you, everybody in the chat. We really appreciate you guys.
Thanks
Thank you,
everybody
guys.
for tolerating
Hanging
us
out,
or
talking.
tolerating me tonight.
I just
Listen,
thank all the guys on the panel for hanging out and talking tonight. Go ahead, Lawrence.
go ahead.
Okay, so we got Lawrence on Sunday night. Sunday night, 5 p.m. We'll be talking about chubby batteries and more.
Yeah.
Extra thick batteries.
I'll get with you on that, Stevie.
Fully round and
I'm chubbing up just thinking about it.
Damn. Yo, Tom is off the hook today.
I'm starting to feel faint, guys.
I'd like to thank you guys and I'd like to thank you guys in the chat for coming in.
Stevie, it's a blood sugar thing, Stevie. See
None
what
of
happens?
this would be possible. And I'll see you next time on Phantom Flight 101 with those guys.
Good night, guys.
Good night.
Good night, everyone. Have a safe one, okay?
Good night.
Okay.
Battery Sunday.
Picture just froze online, which means